Good evening and welcome in to the Double Dog Prepper channel. A new start outside of the 12 days of Christmas. Welcome in, everybody. I hope everybody is having a great day. Let's see who all is in the house tonight. 16 in the chat. East Tennessee Preparedness, welcome in. Good to see you, bud. Hope things are well in your neighborhood. Katrinka, LOL, welcome in. Good to see you. Rabbit Coyote, good evening. Coffee first, then speak. Says that Rabbit wants a timeout already. It just started. All right. Who else we got in here? PJ, welcome in. Good to see you. And she says, hope everyone is having a beautiful evening. Dana, let's prep. And Vision says, take charge 2026. Absolutely. Good to see you, my man, my good friend. Hope you're doing well. Hooligan, good to see you. Hopefully you're doing well hopefully you're doing good as well. Micro Wolf says good evening to y'all. And who else do we have in here that I have not seen? Tuck by V. Long time no see. He says a wild Florida man appears. Awesome. MS Gulf Coast Cajun Prepper, welcome in. Good to see you. I think, let's see who else. Scott Hummer and KP Heathen, good to see you, fellas. Sherry Toulet, I need to reply to your last email, and everything will work out, so I will get an email out to you soon. It's my Renaissance grandma is in the chat. She is saying hello to everyone. And I think I am down here to, maybe not. Rescue, welcome in. Hopefully everything is going good where you're at. OVP, good to see you as well. Hooligan, yes, I did get your email. I will reply back, but yes, I will make sure I do that. What you asked. So, and I believe I got everybody 26 in the chat. I'm at the bottom. If I have not said hello to you, I will try to get to you. Bonnie, good to see you as well. All right. So, Lil Lone Prepper, good to see you and welcome in. I got to take a breath or take a minute to catch my breath. I just got home literally within a matter of a couple minutes ago. I went to a school board meeting and I had a piece of my mind and a request that I wanted to put forth in their hands. And I spoke my piece, and the new school board, who now represents what I think is the majority of how people feel, are now in control. And I look forward to the many great changes that they're going to make and actually start taking care of our children and their education. So, I know we see all the stuff on the news about the division that we have in this country, and seeing it firsthand in a small community that I live in, it absolutely makes me sick to my stomach and disgusts me to no end that people can say one thing, mean another, but then want you to agree with them. It doesn't play well in my mind. East Tennessee says he'll be lurking. Got to get the kids settled down. There you go. Family first, brother. Scott says now I'm on a new FBI watch list. I don't give a shit. You got to stand up for what is right. Being a veteran, serving 12 years in the Marine Corps, and was in Iraq in 2003, 2004, 2005. And of course, this is my opinion only. If you agree with it, you agree with it. If you don't, you don't. That's what makes this country so great. And it's that great because of the men and women who have fought and died for this country and fought and didn't die. They get credit as well. But my issue was the fact that our school district built new schools and basically refused to put the flags back up after the renovations. So we've been fighting the school for quite a long time about getting the American flags put back in. And their response at the beginning of this fight was that they didn't want to put holes in the wall. And I pointed out the fact that if you walk into the multi-million, and this is a high school, multi-million-dollar gymnasium that they have, there's banners for all the sports stuff. And they put holes in the concrete walls. And so we pointed that out to them. And within that school year, the flags were back in the classroom where they belong. And my fight today was over the Pledge of Allegiance. And like I said, you may agree, you may disagree, and that's fine. But this is my channel and my opinion. And the thing about it is the point I'm going to make is the fact that I understand that the Supreme Court has made a ruling that schools cannot force children of any age to stand up and say the Pledge of Allegiance. I get that. But for those that want to say it should have the right to say it. And so I brought it up to the school board, and I had a speech written out, and I made it through that. They have to have the opportunity. If you don't want to say it, you have that right not to say it, and you can stay seated and quiet while those that want to say it. And so there's 5 ladies on the school board. Coffee first. Yes, the Supreme Court decided that you can't force someone to say the Pledge of Allegiance. The funny thing about it is at the opening of every school board meeting, they say the Pledge of Allegiance. The one board member works at a school and said today that they say the Pledge of Allegiance every day because they have a mission statement for the Board of Education. They have a vision statement, and they made a motion to get that put into the daily announcements every morning. And I'm glad that they did that because that made me think, okay, if we can take the time to give a mission and vision statement from the school board to the students, they can take the 15 seconds to allow those that want to do the Pledge of Allegiance to do the Pledge of Allegiance. It's not political. It's, I don't feel just because it says the word God into it, I don't feel that it's religious. But the fact of it is that this country was based on Christian beliefs, and I will leave it at that. I'm not going to dislike you or hate you because you don't believe in what I believe. That's what's great about this country. So, all right, enough of that rant. I need to pay attention to my chat. Tuck says, I wouldn't force anyone to take any pledge. The point of the pledge is willing adherence or alliance. There's a lot to it. I will discuss that at some other point. If somebody wants to discuss it, they can email me, and I can send them a copy of the speech that I did. And like Katrina said, we did the Pledge of Allegiance every single morning at my school. I did it from kindergarten to graduation. So they do it every morning in the elementary, and they only do it on Monday in the middle school and the high school. Well, if they do it on Monday, they can do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Again, it's voluntary. So I don't understand what the big deal is. But whatever. Have ass ready, starting to the party. Well, you're good to go. You're here. Maybe you missed some of my rant, but that's all right. Welcome in, and I will go down here and see what else. Absolutely. It doesn't say which God. You can choose the God you believe in when saying it. That's fine. And you know what? You don't even have to say that if you don't want to. It's fine. And that's something I did not know, Microwolf. You have to say the Pledge of Allegiance when you take the citizenship, so you think about the people. All right. Coffee says she thinks that it should be made to. Kids always choose not to do it. Well, so the past school board, which was more this leaning versus my beliefs and my views, um, was totally against it, and they come to the point where I mean they were actually blatantly lying to me and to everybody else that was at the board meeting, saying that the kids would rather learn than say the Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know any kid that would not take a opportunity to not learn at school for 15 seconds. You cannot, you can't change my mind on that. Show me a kid that said, "I'd rather learn for 15 seconds than do the pledge or even sit there while everybody else is." So, all right, let's see what we got going on. I'm sure you and I probably rant very much alike, my leatherneck brother. Absolutely. Thank you. Sorry that I missed a lot of the chat. I was letting you know how my evening was going. I hope everybody uh, is doing well also. Uh, let's see who else we got in here. Paul J. Conroy, welcome in. Good to see you. Absolute Ghost Lincoln. I call bullshit to those kids want to say it unless they was raised wrong. Um, yeah. So it's now up to they're going to do it, and if you choose not to do it, then again, that's something that they have a choice. So and I'm okay with that. So KP Heathen says no video vision. I said you need those bounties on Walter Wilderness. PJ or JD prepping Erie. Welcome in. Good to see you. So Chuck says children aren't at the age to enter contracts or even understand and pledge to anything. I think adults should do it, but a forced pledge has no value. It's empty. Again, I'm not asking for them to be forced to do it. My whole point is the fact that if they want to do it, they should be afforded the opportunity to do it. And those that don't want to do it don't have to do it. But the point is don't take away from those that want to because of those that don't. All right. Into my rant on that. We could discuss that maybe on another live stream if that's what we're talking about. But I want to get into the main topic of my title of the video, Civil Unrest. What is next? A lot of crazy shit going on in this world. Whether you like it, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, again, we live in a country where you can have your opinion and you can have your beliefs. Okay. I think there's a lot of craziness going on out there. And so and it's sad that we have to talk about this. You know, I wish that I didn't have to have a YouTube channel talking about this, but I feel it's my job, and I want to bring it to people's attention. And I'm sure that you've already heard this, or seen this, or talked about it, or thought about it. But if we talk about it more and more, um, it might hit home in a different way with somebody. So Tammy Harder, welcome in. Good to see you. Uh, so, with civil unrest because of whatever's going on, whether it's the whole ICE thing, whether it's the immigration, whether it's taxes, whether it's overreach of power of government, whether it's, somebody took the last Danish at the grocery store. I don't know. Okay. But there's so many things out there going on that's setting people off for whatever reason. Um, in my whole entire life, I've never seen this kind of madness in this country. This is the stuff that you've seen in third world countries or other countries outside of the United States. Um, but so it's here. It's at our doorstep. You see it if you watch the news, whether you turn on CNN, Fox, MSNBC, whatever. If you get on the internet, it's there. Um, Vanessa, Kitty, welcome in. Good to see you. But civil unrest. I mean, when you have all this lawlessness going on throughout the country, whether it be in a Republican city, which usually is not a Democratic run city, more so. Um, it's absolutely nuts. I'll take a instance here. The stuff that's happening in Minnesota with the fraud up there, and then you have people that are protesting that, and then the ICE come in and try to do their job, and you have people that are trying to inhibit them from doing their job, and stuff happens. Okay. Um, Have Ezra says, I don't think they know why they are protesting DDP. It's just another anarchist plan by a bunch of spoiled ass kids. Well, and that's the thing, social media. Let me tell you this first. I did not get on YouTube to be YouTube famous. I am not famous. I did not get on YouTube to uh, to get fame and to be able to do the things that some of these people are doing. I never thought my channel would ever get the amount that it has, the 600 and whatever number it is. Um, it is that way only because you guys like what I have to say, or you agree with it, or maybe disagree with it, and you're just here, whatever. I appreciate it, but people literally go out with their cell phones, and I think that this is a huge issue with the youth and even my age people and even older people. I mean, you go to a restaurant and you see everybody has their head right here, okay, and they're not talking like this. But when you have people going to other cities and doing the things they are doing while they're recording, in my opinion, it's bullshit. And something needs. Listen, you have the right to protest. You don't have the right to protest in the middle of the street in your vehicle, doing all that kind of stuff. Protesting, first of all, the Second Amendment is to protest the government. All right, it's not to show your displeasure because the grocery store ran out of milk. All right, it's for the government. So take it to Washington D.C. Take it to your capital of your state that you're in. But when you start creating hazardous environments for other people because you want to be stupid, that is not using your Second Amendment, all right, or your First Amendment. Sorry. Um, Freedom of speech does not, in my opinion, uh, does not cover that lawlessness act that you're trying to do. Um, so Marco says, I'm just sitting back watching the show. They are paid activists and protesters are causing all the problem. Absolutely. We got people out there that have way too much money that they don't know what to do with it. They want to pay people to go out there and create havoc. And that is absolutely disgusting. And I hope that at some point a group of politicians can get together and these assholes are found and something happens as far as criminally for paying for this stuff. Um, But something needs to happen, because if they continue, I just don't understand how, if I go out and break the law and I get pulled over and I get a ticket, I can't be mad at anybody but myself, because I'm the one that did it. Take responsibility. Oh, banned from Mansfield for freedom of speech. What did you say, Vision? Enlighten me. It's good to share and explain what's going on and how we feel about it. Others are not even what to have civil conversation and listen. You know what the thing about it is I would be willing to sit down and talk with anybody about anything. I might not agree with it. I might absolutely 100% disagree with it. I will have a conversation. I will say my bit while you listen. You will have an opportunity to rebuttal and say your piece, and we could go back and forth, and we may walk away agreeing to disagree. But that's what America's about, the ability to do that. But you have so many people that get so butthurt that you don't conform to their beliefs, and then they do the shit that they're doing. So conversation is a good thing when it can actually happen. Absolutely. And Vision said, ask Ghost. Oh, geez. What did, who got double dog dared? He double dog dared me. I had to time him out. Oh, shit. Who got timed out? Van's Kitty was banned from Denny's and a Toys R Us at one point in life. Hooligan was banned from Waffle House. There you go. Bad Bobber, welcome in. Good to see you. Blackbird, welcome in, welcome in. Oh, and before I forget, everybody that won a gift on my 12 Days of Christmas, I will be getting those out this week, so keep an eye on it. I have everybody's email. I will email you the tracking number when I get it, and then that way you can take it from there. So you got the phone in your face and you're blocking ice at the same time, then you try to run them over. FAFO, I have family members in the military and law enforcement. Yeah, the whole thing is a chaotic situation, but you know what? When you put yourself in that situation, you're causing that chaotic situation, and that's my opinion, and that's what I think. So, um, I don't want to see anybody get killed in this country, but it happens, you know. So, but there's also events like that give all these other idiots out there reason to go out and break into stores and loot and pillage and burn shit down, and for what? Just because they think they could be an asshole because something that had nothing to do with them happened. Okay, so my family tree has a mini military. Out of 6 of us siblings, 3 of us retired military, 1 is a combat engineer vet. Awesome. Good to go. It was a while before I even saw videos showing the front of the vehicle to prove what really happened. Yeah, I mean the whole thing is nuts. But Vision says, "Get ready, get ready." What are we getting ready for? You still got any? You got any meat left from your beef pickup, or did your 2 pups eat you out of house and home yet? From your last check in with the new one, you said he weighed 70 pounds. He's gaining weight like crazy. But that's awesome. You take good care of your dogs. You give them good food, and yep. Vision said tons of it. Yeah. Taco Tuesday. That's tomorrow. All right. So, with all the civil unrest that is happening and or could happen, I want to discuss a couple things. And while I do that, I have a bunch of notes on this screen here. I want to try to keep up with what's going on in the chat. So I will remind everybody to stay respectful to each other. We can agree with each other or disagree with each other, but we need to be respectful. So, Southern Dave, welcome in. That is a name that I don't think I've seen. And if I have, I apologize. But welcome in. So, that's what we're getting ready for. Oh, Taco Tuesday? Okay. All right. Well, that's tomorrow. So, and guess what we're having? Tacos. All right. My survival guide input on civil unrest and what's next is three categories that I want to talk about: awareness, preparation, and avoidance. All right. So going back up here, talk about awareness, situational understanding, and readiness. Okay, you need to stay informed via the local news. Um, whether you have a favorite place to get your news, make sure that at least some way of checking what's going on in your local area is a good idea. Also, um, you can do the local news or whatever. You can do the radio. You can do the internet. But that could also be an issue later on in my next topic here, talking about it. But if something were to happen, civil unrest to happen, put a one in the chat if you have an emergency radio and know where it's at. And while I wait to see who has an emergency radio, I'm going to read the chat here and see what's going on. A lot of ones. Vision has a lot of emergency radios, it looks like. There you go. Um, at the vet today, and a lady was getting drugged by her Corso through the parking lot. 9-month-old, 125 pounds. Holy crap. KP Heathen says 0. No radios yet. Emergency radio, not a ham radio or anything like that. And that was my next one. Okay, but let's talk about the emergency radios. You have one, you know where it's at. Awesome. Is it charged? Like mine, it is a. Well, this is the one that I gave away, but I have the same exact one. It has a solar panel on top that you can charge it solar by solar. It has a winding thing that you can wind it up, and then obviously it takes batteries. But having one of these, I have one upstairs and one downstairs. I have one in my bag in my truck. So, and I might have another one laying around here or there. So, but having one and knowing where it's at is a good start. Making sure it's charged and have the batteries. I have mine that's on the charger up there right now to make sure it's always charged. Ham radios is another good way of finding out what's going on civilly when during civil unrest. Dana says I do not hand crank radio for receiving news. Well, if you have the type that you can crank it in order to charge the batteries, then that is an excellent way of making sure that you can always utilize it. So, can you put the link to buy it in your description? Yes, I'm actually working on a Amazon store link. That way, I can put the stuff that I buy on there. Go from that. But if anybody has anything that they want to know where I got it at, my email is at the bottom of the page here, and I can just do it like that. You can email me anytime. I try to get back with you in a reasonable amount of time, but FYI, if you have a ham radio, you better have NOAA programming in it. There you go. And speaking about the ham radio, that was my next thing. Having a ham radio, and I'm going to be the first to admit it, I have several of them, but I have not a clue on how to use it. And so that's on my thing for 2026 is to learn and to get licensed, starting off with the basic one, the first one, and go from there. So if you have a ham radio, you should know how to use it and program it, where your repeaters are and all that good stuff. And of course, my man to the south of me says, I know a guy, DDP. I know you do. And Hudson Valley Prepping and Survival is in the house. Holler to you, boy. There you go. Have S Ready says everyone needs an AM, FM portable battery powered radio virtual to get local information during grid down situations. Absolutely. Absolutely. I have the emergency radios. I have the ham radios that I don't know how to use yet, but I will get there. I have walkie talkies. I have the GMRS and the other one. So, absolutely. 762 by 51 says, but one pre-program for my area, but don't know a dang thing about it. You got one? Okay, yeah. Same thing, you know. Matter of fact, Vision sent me one of the few that I have. I got from Vision. I'm greatly appreciate it, and I just need to learn how to use it. So I am the first to admit that I don't know anything about it. I want to learn, and I need to take the time to do it. So, well, welcome in 762 by 51. Good to see you. Long time no see. Hope everything is doing well in your area. And then obviously another way of being aware of your situation and understanding it and readiness is neighbors and word of mouth from people that you're around. Whether you're still able to drive around and still able to communicate with others, it is a good way to know what's going on. What might be happening down in Vision's area might not be happening in mine. So if I can communicate in any way to him and vice versa, that's another way of being aware of the situation. And obviously, when you're out and about, are you searching the area? I know that I am constantly surviving. I'm constantly surviving. Yes, surveying the area. Southern Dave says, DP, I lurked for a little bit, subscribed, and now getting chatty. Absolutely. Jump on in. Everybody's very friendly here. A lot of knowledge. If you have any questions, ask. I don't know everything, but in this great world that we live in, somebody's bound to know the answer. So, surviving or surveying the area when you go places, do you watch people and how they might be acting? And with that being said, do you have an evacuation plan? And I will give you an instance that personally happened to me just yesterday. My wife and I went to church at 11 o'clock, and we got there about 10 minutes prior to mass starting. And so we set, I like sitting in the back personally, because I don't like people sitting behind me. I can't see them. And then if I am not sitting in the back, I cannot concentrate on what's being said. And it defeats the whole purpose of going to church. So I always like sitting in the back of the church. And the local police chief is also a member of my church. And he was not sitting in his normal seat. And there was a gentleman that was sitting in the same row as all of us, but in a section over. So our church, the setting is like a elongated U, and each section is broken up with an aisle that goes up towards the altar. So, anyways, there was a gentleman sitting there that I've never seen before, and he had a backpack, and some other stuff there. And he didn't look the cleanest, which I am not there to judge anybody, and I didn't judge, but he just something was not right about the situation. Um, so I just kept looking and keeping an eye. And so during the mass, you stand up, you sit down. I mean, if anybody's been to a Catholic church, they know how mass is. Well, when everybody sat down, he remained standing, and I just thought maybe it was something that he did not know what was going on. And he turns around and he takes his coat off, and I'm like, "What in the hell is this dude doing?" And he walks behind me. Of course, by then, before he even gets behind me, I'm already up out of my seat. Um, and I'm watching him, and I stay fairly close to him. The police chief is already behind him as well, so I'm in front, and he's behind. And this cat walks all the way around, and walks down the main aisle uh, to the altar. And as the priest is giving the prayer at the time, he sees him coming, and so he comes down the steps and like kind of cut him off from the altar, and he doesn't miss a beat. And I give my priest a lot of credit for keeping everything going smoothly. And of course, I'm watching this guy's um, hands the whole time, because if he reaches into his pocket or whatever, I, do I have to take him down? Well, there's probably 300-400 people. Um, I agree, Vision, and I talked to the priest afterwards about it, and we're coming up with, and that's why I texted you, asking you about how your church does it. But anyways, nothing happened at that time. He got him to turn around and go back to his seat, and so mass continues, and at the end of it, the very last part of it, after before everybody's dismissed, they have a song, and as the priest is coming down the main aisle, this guy gets up out of his seat and starts emptying out his pockets. And now I'm thinking, okay, this dude is batshit crazy, and something's about to happen. All right. So I after that first situation, I never sat back down. I stood in the back against the wall. That way, I had the wall behind me, and then there was nothing behind me. So he had to go in front of me. So he walks in front of me, and I continue walking with him, and we cut him off. And the priest again walks right towards him and handles it awesome. And nothing happened, but the whole situation um, was very weird. And if anybody pays attention to the news, Christians are being attacked. But I'm telling you right now, if I have anything to say about it, it's not going to happen. Whether you're a religious person or not, I don't care. I will protect anybody regardless. So, but anyways, enough with that. A very weird situation, and I'm thankful that nothing happened. So. All right, so we talked about awareness, being aware of your situation. All right, and so the next part is of my survival ideas is preparation. All right, in preparation, do you have a plan, and are you prepared? All right, everybody has a starting point, and I apologize. I am not looking at the chat. I'm just running my mouth and talking, so I apologize. Go back up here and see. It's just not happening here. It's happening around the world. You should know better. Some people can't be civilized and some common sense. Yep, absolutely. So, Vision, I appreciate it. You and I will need to talk, and we can do that at some point. But absolutely. Good night, coffee. Have a good night. Thank you. And Have a good day tomorrow at work. Work really hard. Rabbit says, better luck timing me out, Balloon Meanie. Rest. Always poking the bear. But Dan, is it still CB rated out there? If you are by any truck stop, see if they have one near you as well at the online. Okay. Hudson Valley said, great job. Yeah, thank you. It was crazy. All right, so security teams have all been trained. 2 big training sessions coming up. Christian Warrior at some excellent free online training courses. Yeah. So cover your topic chats replay for a reason. All right. Preparation. Do you have a plan and are you prepared? Do you have the basics? I'm going to go over the basics of it. Do you have food and how much of it do you have? Do you have water? Again, how much do you have? First aid kit or first aid and self defense. And then obviously miscellaneous stuff. Do you have enough to last you 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, 6 months, a year or more? Grant and Grace, welcome in. I always recommend, just like any of these content creators that have done videos on this, first start off by, just doing a couple days, couple extra this, couple extra that. It adds up quick. I always watch for deals, usually around holidays, like canned goods. This Christmas, Thanksgiving time, canned vegetables were 49 cents. I do can a lot of my vegetables that I have, but I don't grow peas, so I bought a bunch of canned peas. I bought extra cans of green beans just to offset what I didn't have this year. But and just other things. I mean, I have canned potatoes and canned carrots, stuff that maybe won't last as long in a cellar or whatever. So, World 2IC, welcome in. Good to see you. But do you have all the necessities that you need? Do you have the medication, your everyday medication, or do you have a book? And I have one over there of home remedies that would simulate the medication that you receive from a doctor or a pharmacy. So that is a huge one for me. I'm on a blood pressure medicine that if I don't take if I don't have it now, I could wean it off of it, but the one time that I didn't have it for a couple of days because the pharmacy couldn't get it, I felt horrible. My blood pressure went skyrocketing. I felt like absolute shit. And it took a while for it to get back into my system. And it even says right on it, do not stop taking it without the doctor, telling you to, but they're supposed to wean you off of it. So what am I going to do if I don't have that medication down the road and something bad happens and I can't get to a pharmacy or to the doctor? Obviously, I have set back some through over time. So I have a pretty good stash on that aspect of it. But what happens if something lasts a year or longer? What happens if it's permanent? I don't want to die just because I'm not prepared. So I want to find different things that I can do. And one of them is doing my weight loss thing to try to lose weight. Maybe that will help, and I don't need that medication. So, and Ghost Lincoln says, right, look for the bare necessities. Absolutely. And now he's singing. But if you have all the stuff that I'm talking about, plus all your miscellaneous stuff, like stuff to make repairs and tarps and all that kind of stuff, and duct tape and all the stuff we could talk about for a whole hour alone, how are you going to replenish that stuff? All right. Do you have the seeds to plant for gardens? If you're a person that goes to a big box store and buys your plants, what are you going to do if you can't get to Lowe's or Home Depot or the greenhouse? All right. So do you have seeds? Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to start it? Do you know how to keep it going? All that kind of stuff. So now that you have time and you have access to the internet, you should be printing off stuff. You should be downloading stuff on thumb drives or have them backed up on tablets or whatever. I have a tablet that I have a lot of my stuff backed up on that I can use offline. They are different herbal plants. They will do the same. I'm on cervical medicine, so I stash back as well. Absolutely. So, Prepper Book Club, welcome in. Good to see you. So, moving on, what do you do if the unrest causes power to go out? Everyone in the chat, as far as I know, has a refrigerator, freezer, or both a refrigerator and a freezer. Some of you might have multiple refrigerators, multiple freezers, like me. What are you going to do if the power goes out and you don't know how long it's going to be out? Obviously, that's a part of being aware and having a way of getting the information. You don't know how far spread this is, so having ability to know that will determine what you do next. So if obviously if the whole United States is out of power, it's not coming back on anytime, if ever, whatever. Not to be doom and gloom, but what are you going to do with all the food that's in your refrigerator, in your freezers? We're not all like certain individuals that have a system already. I know that I don't have a whole house system to power my whole house system solar wise. Okay. I have a gas generator that's more than enough. But obviously, if the grid's down for long enough, you're going to run out of gas. Okay. And Blackbird, you're absolutely right. Even if you keep a handwritten journal on things, absolutely. Stretch, we're not like that here. Okay. So, Mod, take care of that, please. Anyways, having your backup generator, whether it's gas or solar, all right, a way of recharging it or using it. What are you going to do? How are you going to get gas? One thing that you could do is have a siphon hose in order to use that to get gas from vehicles or whatever. So, solar, making sure that you have your solar panels, making sure that you know how to face it towards the sun and all that kind of stuff. The point I'm making with it is you got to be able to replenish your power. All right. You have to make sure that you test them out. Don't just leave them in your closet and let it collect dust. Get it out, dust it off, and use it. All right. And I'm sure most of you that have solar panels or solar generators or solar batteries or whatever use them in your lifestyle, whatever, and that's good. Do you have backup parts for those things? Not necessarily just the solar panels, but everything else. Do you have backup parts for your vehicles and stuff like that in case it goes down and breaks or whatever? Absolutely, Vision. Test your gear. It would be a really bad day for you if you went and spent all the money you did on something. And I'll give you an example. I have a whole house gas generator. All right. I went out to go start it up the other day, and the battery was dead on it. I have not tried starting it in a few months. I need to do better at it and do it at least once a month in order to keep the battery charged. Do I have a backup battery for it? I do now. Okay. So, and I have it on trickle charge, so it stays charged all the time. But backup parts for all the things that you're going to need. Should be on your list of things to have. Just as important as your food and your water and your first aid and your self-defense. All right. And you need to educate yourself on your stuff. The Roman Prepper, welcome in. Yes, don't lick batteries. Good evening, all. Thank you. Good advice. And absolutely, Southern Dave, make a plan and do a dry run so you know what to do. Absolutely, that is a good idea, and we all should be doing that. But educating yourself on your equipment, the computer that I'm on, our cell phones that we have, our tablets, while we have internet, YouTube gives you great source of resource for information, and you need to utilize it. So if you have a piece of equipment that you don't know everything about, or you're not sure on how to do it or how to fix it, whatever, you need to figure it out before you have a need for it and don't know. So Daniel's Prep says, I put a little extra gasoline in my car in a red container. When I checked, it looked cloudy, so I don't dare to use it. Maybe the shed was too cold, especially with holy roof. Yeah. Um, that happens. You put some, what is it called? The stuff you put in the gasoline stabilizer. Yeah. So I think that falls under the category of don't put your mouth on it. All right. So, and book Prepper Book Club said it. It's better to do it now instead of when things are stressful. Absolutely, because for anybody that has not been in a situation like combat or anything in that category, you could practice every single day, and something like that happens, and a lot of that stuff is going to go away. The basics will still be there, but it's going to take you a minute because you're going to be shell shocked just like everybody else, just maybe not as long or as difficult for you. So, Teresa, welcome in. Good to see you. All right. So, along with that preparation, you have a grill, a way of cooking. You have a pressure canner in order. What happens if the electricity goes out and you don't have a way to keep your refrigerator going? You got to take that food and prep it so you can utilize it later on. So, do you have a pressure canner? Do you have a hot water bath canner? Um, and then with that, do you have the jars, the lids, all that kind of stuff? And something that I didn't think about, if you're canning stuff that is acidic, do you have citric acid or lemon juice to help prevent botulism? When I was writing all the stuff out, that was one of the things that uh, I found. I have plenty of it, but what do you do if it's down a year and you run out of the stuff? Who has a lemon tree in their backyard? So, all right, moving on. We've been on for 52 minutes. I'm not going to stay on way too much longer than my normal time slot, but a part of the next category is avoidance. All right, staying informed, avoid protest in volatile areas. So if you're listening on the news and you hear that there's rioting going on in a town near you, and you need to go to the grocery store and you have to go through that area, you need to avoid it. Why put yourself in a situation that something bad could happen, or you could get sucked into that protest, whether you wanted to or not, whether you agree or disagree with the situation? Why put yourself there if you don't have to, especially if you have a family, even if you don't have a family, but if you have a family that's depending on you coming back or you getting the stuff that you are going to get, then you don't need to put yourself in that situation. Um, Having a plan, prepare for having emergency supplies and a plan if something like that happens. Southern Dave, good night to you as well. Welcome to the channel, and I hope to see you back next Monday. But having an emergency having emergency supplies in your vehicle, extra windshield wipers, extra uh, some extra water, something to eat or something like that. And as Vision said, he says it now and has said it before. Have a plan and work your plan. Absolutely. It doesn't do no good to write something down and leave it on the paper. This paper is not going to save you, but doing what's on the paper will. All right. So you have your emergency supplies, you have a plan, you work on it, you execute it, you go back, you think about it, you decide what you could do different, what you could do better, and what works. All right. Um, Focusing on situational awareness, knowing when and where the unrest is likely. Um, Pretty much, I'm not going to have protesters outside my house. All right. Um, but if I need to go to the grocery store, which is in town, there's more of a chance that it's going to be there. Not necessarily as much in my area as maybe in the bigger cities where most of this crap is going on. All right. So avoid and stay clear of crowds and marches and protests and all that kind of stuff. I am not a crowd person myself. Um, Never used to bother me. After being in the Marines and doing the things that I've done in my life, I am not a fan of crowds. Not that I'm scared. I just prefer not to be around a bunch of people, especially what we know uh, now of what our things are going on. So let's see what's next. Sheltering in place. All right. So you have a plan if you're going, even going to the grocery store. Okay. Everybody has a plan if they go to their local grocery store or go wherever they got to go on a daily basis. What happens if an accident happens and that road's closed off? You have to have a plan in order to get back home. All right. So everybody should have that already in their head, knowing the area. But if you're someplace that you're not familiar, um, you need to have a secondary route. Bonnie says, I'm only protesting my family to get their butts moving. Absolutely. There you go. But always have a second route or an evacuation route in case something happens. That's why I have a map, actual physical map that I upgrade every year in all of our vehicles. Obviously, if we still have cell service, you can use GPS or whatever. Um, is there anybody that still prints out directions like we used to before we had GPS? If they're going on a trip, do you print out, still have that? There's still, I mean, you still have the capability of doing it. You could go on the internet and type out uh, different routes or whatever. I'm just curious if anybody still does that. JD said, I do. I'm coming to your house. Okay. There you go. Ghost says he writes them down. Paul J. Conroy said, I always go over a hard map before I go anywhere and learn the route. Absolutely. Print? No. Right? Yes, if necessary. There you go. And paying attention while you're going down can also help you, knowing exits and stuff like that. So um, that will help you if you're in between locations and you don't really know that area. If you can see exit signs or whatever, and if you have to get off, then you can pinpoint yourself on a map if you have it, and that will help you out. Scott Hummer says, yes, I print them out. Um, Not gonna lie, I do the same thing. Just even though I have a map, I have GPS, but what's a couple pieces of paper with written directions on it? If I use it, if I need to use it, I have it. So if I don't need to use it, I still have it. So, but having an evacuation routes, have routes ready if your location becomes unsafe. All right. So I know I went through a lot of the stuff pretty quickly, and a lot of the things we could break down into individual topics to talk about. But I wanted to do this first live back after having my 5 month break, and I know that I came back for the Christmas stuff, but we really didn't talk a whole lot about preparedness and all that kind of stuff. So I wanted to slowly get back into this, and a lot of stuff other places are talking about, and I like seeing that. I'm not worried about what other people are talking about because. Um, Not everybody that's on my channel goes to everybody else's channel. A lot of you do. A lot of everybody sees all the names and stuff. So, but if there's individuals that come in or that are lurking in the background that aren't subscribed to others' channels, they may not hear it. So, I'm going to go through what I feel is important and talk about the things that I feel important. And I will, open it up at some point with live chats and open mics and stuff like that. And we can discuss things that maybe you want to talk about. But I have a lot of ideas of things that I want to discuss, and I'm looking for experts to bring up on my panel to talk about, because I don't want to give advice of things that I am not 100% sure on, or at least very knowledgeable about. So Teresa says, thanks, Devil Dog. You're absolutely welcome. Uh, Starting this YouTube thing out, I didn't know it was going to be this difficult to keep it going on what to talk about and stuff. So that was one of the reasons why I did take the break. But now I'm back. I don't plan on going anywhere anytime soon. I may not do every Monday, and obviously keep an eye out on my wall, or whatever they call it, the community page. If I don't have it, I obviously will let everybody know. Yeah, someone said something about a compass. Absolutely. Those are all the things that you should have in your bug out bag or your get home bag. I gave a class at Bug Out Weekend about not on that topic, but about doing your pace counting, which is a part of utilizing a compass. And on somebody that was there, they video recorded my class, and some people had made some comments about, and it wasn't that they weren't coming at me, but they made comments like, you shouldn't be telling these people this. I didn't tell anybody anything that wasn't basic knowledge. Okay. I wasn't given a course on using a compass. I remember going through the land nav course as a young Marine, and we all got lost. All right. So it's something that takes a long time to learn and to master the compass and map stuff. All right. So you have a map, but do you know how to use it, and do you know how to do all the things that it does? So don't just think because you have a compass that you're going to get where you're going. All right. There's a lot more to it than that. And so got to be safe about it. So, but I do want to thank everybody for stopping by my return live stream, obviously besides the giveaways. Again, for all those, can you read a map? Absolutely, I can read a map. But I am rusty on the compass thing. But again, maybe it's like riding a bike. You you'll get used to it and learn as you go. So, but anyways, with all those that did win, I will be getting that out this week. And I appreciate everybody for showing the much love. I got a thing that my videos are a hit, and that you must be out there watching the reruns on my playlist. I greatly appreciate it. My next step is to get that 1,000 subscriber platform, or that level, and see what we can do there. So, but other than that, folks, I appreciate you taking your time out of your day. I know everybody's busy, everybody has family and stuff like that, to come on here and listen to me ramble. And I think we had a good conversation. Well, not a conversation because I was the only one talking, but thank you for listening. If anybody, like I said, has questions or comments, or needs to get a hold of me, or just wants to talk, my email is devildogprepper@gmail.com. I appreciate it. Thank you for your support, and we will see you again next Monday at 8 p.m. Be there, and we will talk about the next subject. But until then, stay safe, stay prepped, stay vigilant, stay prepped. Have a good night, guys.